way to ensure that a younger person does not repeat the same mistakes that an older person made is to ensure that mentorship is in place. On this show, we do that by exposing teenagers and young adults to practicing professionals who will guide them in the choice of a career. My name is Praise Shogbade, and I am delighted to be your host. You are watching Divine TV, where we enrich souls through the gospel of Christ. On this show today, we have a medical practitioner. Her name is Mary Ann Ete, and she will be talking to us not just about her medical profession, but what she currently practices. Welcome on board, ma'am.
Thank you for having me, Praise.
We're so glad that you are here. I'm sure that the teenagers and young adults have been waiting. Oh, finally, now we have someone to talk to us about medicine, and not just about the medical profession, but what you do. I would love you to introduce that aspect of what you do because it's quite dynamic. Reintroduce yourself to us.
All right.
Please.
Thank you for having me, Praise. My name is Marianne Francis Ete. I am the CEO of Lion Group. Lion Group is into real estate and into transportation and also into ticketing, hotel reservation. So that's what we do basically, yeah. Okay,
that's what you practice right now?
Yes, please.
Okay, before we come into what you practice right now, I want us to talk about your background in the medical profession. You studied, that was what you studied in the university, right? Yes. Talk to us about your journey in the medical field, how you even decided to, I mean, what you practice right now is definitely, probably not something you had in mind all along.
Okay.
So talk to us about how you practice it, starting from the secondary school level. Definitely you were in the science class, the university level, and then what you are doing currently.
Okay, thank you for that question. Yeah, while growing up, I actually have a different dreams entirely, but as time goes on, their rotations start changing and all of that. Yeah, my parents are people who like anything that is professional, as in you do my medical lab science, lawyer or whatever, but it should be a professional course. Yeah. But left for me, I wanted to be a news anchor. I looked at people like Christian Ampo of CNN and Bernard Shaw of CNN and so many others, Betty Rabo and all that. You know, but why I left the junior secondary school, while going to the senior secondary school, I ventured into, I started liking this biology, the science and all that. Then I got an interest in studying more of biology, the reproduction and all that. So that's where the medicine aspect came in. I was like, okay, I would love to be a doctor. Then I ventured into going to, I got admission, then I studied pure medical anatomy, which was one of the things that my parents loved, you know, but as time goes on, so I started loving the course. But as time goes on, as a child or as a teenager, there are things that was catching up my interest and all that. So that's how I ventured into going to pure medicine.
Wow. Thank you so much. So yours was more of a story of not just parental influence. Of course, you loved it.
Yes.
You intentionally went to science class.
Yes,
you weren't pushed into it.
Yeah.
All right. So because we've had many people on this platform tell us that their parents literally forced them into doing it, or their parents just influenced them, and of course they didn't want to rebel against parental guidance. So thank you very much for that background information. Now I want you to tell us about what you do in Lion Group. What you do at Lion Group. What is Lion Group into? You mentioned real estate. I'm sure those watching right now are like, real estate? What is real estate? Because we have 13-year-olds watching this show. We have 14-year. We have teenagers, and then between ages 13 to 22, most likely watching the show. So what is real estate all about? Why real estate? There are different options, different career options. Why real estate?
Okay. First and foremost, I came from a family that loves trading. Especially the family of my mom, they love things, selling and buying and all that stuff. So venturing into real estate was not by choice. I saw something, there was something I saw that made me go into real estate. Now, we're talking about scamming and all that stuff. Now, real estate is a way or I'm looking for a better word to use to define real estate. It's a way of investment, a good way of investment. Now, it's all about housing, buying landed property, built property, and living there for a long period. It's a long time investment, and it appreciates. What I mean by appreciate, yes, it increases when you buy a property of what 850,000 naira or 800,000 naira. In 2 years' time, you can hear that property is almost 10 million naira. You're like, wow. So that's what real estate is into. That's what Lion Group is into. Now we help source for people. We are not developers. We source for landed property, and you tell us, okay, I need so acres of land. We do that for you. And we're not only that, we are into shuttle service, like transportation services. I think we're the first private airport shuttle in Nigeria now. So that's just what we are into.
That's quite interesting.
Thank
I like
you.
the fact that we have someone on the show who can speak about her medical profession and can also speak about real estate. So it's like having two people in one person. Okay, so we're going to be moving from your medical profession to real estate.
Okay.
But I want you to talk about medicine or your medical profession. For someone watching right now and is interested in medical human anatomy, what do they have to study? Of course, they have to be science then. So just tell us the process it took you to become what you were.
Going into
or what you still are.
Okay, going into medical line is not something of a child's play. You have to be dedicated. When I mean by dedicated, you have to read and study very hard. I hear people say, I work very hard, I study very hard. There's a difference between when you read hard and when you understand what you're reading. Now, going into, you need, one thing you should know, it's a passion for a particular subject. I think when you are in SS1, there are people who love biology, while people love physics. Some people like geography. Now, when a child start developing this likeness for such subjects, as a parent, you just have to help them develop that talent. So what you need is to study more of biology. Then secondly, when you get to the university, there's what they call basic medical sciences. Basic medical sciences are courses that help you to study medicine. We have physiology, where you talk about the study of human bodies. We have optometry, study of eyes. We have biochemistry, chemicals. We have likes of anatomy. We're talking about the body structure. So it's a broad subject. It's not something that we can finish here. So if anyone that wants to venture into that, first and foremost, you should know more of your biology, more of your maths, more of your physics. So it's these three subjects. The major thing. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. So I would want you to talk about the skills required for skills that need to be developed for those who want to go into this aspect of medicine.
I don't think there's a skill required to go into medicine, but as a parent or as a young adult, there are things that might interest you. Now, just like my parents would say, while growing up, I like catching lizard. It's so funny. When they were telling me, I was like, are you serious? Like, when they get the lizard, they'll ask me, what are you hiding? I will say, there's nothing I'm hiding. And I would use, live lizard. Then I will use, there's a woman that was close to us. People gives birth in her house. So I see the syringe and all those things. I will take the syringe and hit the lizard. I will kill the lizard. And sometimes I will use some things, needle and thread, and stitching and all that. So they cut me and beat me several times. Now, when you see such child showing such interest, what you know as a parent is to start developing that particular thing that child is doing. He or she might not have the knowledge or might not be so intelligent to study medicine, but there are different ways. It might be watching cartoons when they talk about development, like they have Grey's Anatomy on DSTV. They talk about more of this profession.
Medicine, yes.
Yeah, I think when they watch this thing, they become interested, and obviously they have to read their books. Like, okay, you have to have this interest and all that. And medicine is a broad subject. There might be children that you might want to go into medicine because of the teeth. You want to be a dentist, you want to be a surgeon, you want to be there's so many things, maybe a dietitian and all that stuff. So it doesn't really need a skill.
Thank you so much for enlightening us on that. We are still going to talk about the medical profession a little bit before we go into real estate and what Lion Group is about. Before then, we'll go on a short break, and when we are back, we'll continue with our discuss. You are still watching Divine TV, where we enrich souls through the gospel of Christ. Stay with us. Enjoy inspirational, informative, and soul-lifting Christian programs such as Christian Parenting and Homefront, Light After Darkness, Fulfilling the Mandate, Kids and Bible, Movies Review, Shepherd's Spouse, Kingdom Stars, Teens Perspectives, My Next Gospel Event, and lots more on Divine Television. Download Divine TV mobile app on Google Play Store or watch on our YouTube channel. You can also visit www.tvdivine.net. Divine TV, enriching souls through the gospel of Christ. Welcome back. You are still watching Catch Them Young live on Divine TV, where we enrich souls through the gospel of Christ. In the studio today, we still have Marianne Ete talking to us about her medical profession and also her professional career as a real estate agent, as the CEO of Lion Group. So before we go into real estate and every other thing that you do as an entrepreneur, as the CEO of Lion Group, I would want you to talk about the career opportunities in your field. So if I decide to go into medical human anatomy, what would I do? Where will I work? Okay. You understand? So just tell us about it.
When you go into that particular part of medicine, you obviously you work in the hospital.
Okay.
And the honest part of it is that you become a specialist.
Okay.
You know, more people venture into more of autopsy. Yeah, just like in Nigeria, Nigeria, our country does not. I don't think you don't give room for people who study human anatomy. Now, when you go to the US, when you go to the outside world, now you see people. You see human anatomy working with FBI, working with CIA, working with the police department. There's a department for them.
Even in the police.
So you can work. I don't know if it's here in Nigeria, if they have a department for that. I think they should. Yes, when it comes to autopsy, yes, they should. So you can be a specialist, and those people earn more. There are big boys and big girls when they do that.
So there's
money in it. Yes, obviously. So I would advise whoever that wants to study that, just go abroad and go and study. Become a big person.
Wow. Go abroad and come and practice in Nigeria.
Oh no, practice the Harbour.
Okay, it's good that even if you get knowledge abroad, you bless your homeland with the knowledge that you've gotten.
Yeah.
You understand? But then there's still room to practice abroad. I'm sure that those who studied in Nigeria can also practice abroad.
Yes,
There's room for that. All right. Thank you very much. I would want you to talk about the challenges in this profession as a medical practitioner. What are the challenges you have faced, the challenges you face while practicing, the challenges that you know that people still face in medical field, especially in Nigeria?
What I would say is the challenges I faced, one, the courses. When going to this field, they didn't tell me that the courses I'm going to take are very, very, I don't know the word, as in they are very, very hard.
Okay.
You know. So there was a time just part of the course, the outline courses are something that you see and you want to give up. You see some courses having 3 units, 4 units, and you just have, these courses are not introduced at that semester. Okay. Maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the semester, you just have to start studying these courses. It's one of the things that the courses, people run away from that. Yeah, the courses are really challenging. To failing your dissection as a medical student or anyone who wants to venture into medical line, you must do dissection. And when you fail your MBBS, your first MBBS, second MBBS, these exams are extreme. These are exams that prepare you. And when you fail, first time, second time, they just strike you off. So dissecting is one of it. And the challenge, another challenges we face is people who choose this particular field, that is anatomy, getting a job it's very hard for them because, like I said, our country, I don't think they've introduced part of these courses or part of this career to the general public. Now, why somebody dies, why you should check the reason, the causes why this person died. Just like we believe when you die, you just bury you. Now, not like the Western world. When they die, they want to check the causes of why this death was there and all that. I think one is getting a job. You know, being in that field, you have to look for a job, and it can be so frustrating that you just have to leave that job and look for something else. And this is something that you are passionate about, and coming out, looking at the society alone, it's much challenging. And the pay, I think the pay too is another challenge. When I was practicing, they will give a doctor 200,000 naira. Why they want to pay somebody like me 100,000 naira? We did same thing. Just because I tried, just like somebody venture into being a pediatrician, people who treat children and all that, they don't want to pay them this particular amount because you have this somebody doing this, somebody going to a surgery part of it and all that. The challenges are just so society.
There's discrimination.
There's discrimination. Yes, even in the hospital. I think that should be it. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, thank you.
I would also want us to, before we eventually go into real estate, because it's quite an interesting topic. Nowadays, we have a lot of people in real estate. You ask someone what you do. In fact, I don't know if there is a course for real estate practitioners out there. We're going to talk about that. But concerning medicine, what advice would you give to youngsters out there who want to attain heights in the field of medicine?
What I would advise is for them to be sure. You have to be certain, and you have to be, not because you are hearing the name doctor this. You have to be sure about what you want to do. And you have to be sure that it's not what your parents are actually asking you to do, telling you this is what you want to do. It's something you have to love, and there will be trying times when it comes to your academics because of the courses and all that. It's something you have to be determined when doing that. You have to love your subject, and just have to do anything that concerns science itself. You just have to read more, and when you don't understand, that's why you have your lecturers. You meet your lecturers, you read. You don't even need to meet your lecturers, because when you go on Google, it shows you whatever this means. You go to YouTube and so all that stuff. Search. Yes. So you just have to love. The basic thing is to love this particular subject or this particular career, not you are liking. The difference between like I told you earlier, there's difference between you like something and you love something. When you love something, you don't give up, and it doesn't I want to use the word, like, no matter what anyone tells you,
you still
go and fight for it. Even though when you fail, you still pick up. So there's the number one thing is just love whatever you want to do. Yes.
Wow, thank you very much for that. I think that's a very big advice. That's a very big advice, because it means you have to first of all find your passion before choosing a career. The reason why we have a lot of people studying one thing and eventually practicing another is because they did not understand their passion before choosing a career. So we have people saying, I want to study this, and then eventually they begin to realize what their passion is. So from the advice that you gave right now, I think it's quite important, like you said, that you love what you do. So the first step for the teenagers watching us right now, the first step is to find what you love. Because you can't say that I want to go into medicine because I love it if you haven't found out that you really love it. So you need to understand what you love, not what your parents want you to love, not what the society wants you to love. And it's quite interesting that we have a lot of people who studied medicine but are either not practicing it, had to drop out of it because they realized that even though they went into it, they couldn't just bear the body. They couldn't, like you said, some courses are quite difficult. But for somebody who is passionate about really being a medical doctor or practicing in the medical field, I think that if they really love it, if they're really passionate about it, they would not mind the hard courses. They would not mind the hard, but someone who wants something else would just say, after all, it's not like I really wanted to do this, so let me just drop it. So the first step to getting a good career is to love what you do. I think we already mentioned that on some other episodes of the show, where we quoted a great man who once said that the best way to be good at what you are doing is to love what you do. Once you love it, it comes easy. So I want to ask one more question in the medical field.
Okay.
Is it possible to practice independently? Because we have some people who, you study something, you don't have to submit your CV to get a job out there. Is it possible? Are there ways by which you can practice independently as a medical practitioner? Now, we'll come to this particular question, but before that, we'll go on a quick break. When we're back, we'll continue with our discuss. Stay with us. Enjoy inspirational, informative, and soul-lifting Christian programs such as Christian Parenting and Homefront, Light After Darkness, Fulfilling the Mandate, Kids and Bible, Movies Review, Shepherd's Spouse, Kingdom Stars, Teens Perspectives, My Next Gospel Event, and lots more on Divine Television. Download Divine TV mobile app on Google Play Store or watch on our YouTube channel. You can also visit www.tvdivine.net. Divine TV, enriching souls through the gospel of Christ. Welcome back. This is still Catch Them Young live on Divine TV, where we enrich souls through the gospel of Christ. In the studio today, I still have a medical practitioner, Marianne Ete, talking to us about her profession as a medical practitioner. So before we went on a break, I asked the question, I asked if it's possible to practice independently as a medical practitioner. So is it possible that I've studied medicine and I probably can't get a job, so I want to just do something independently as a medical practitioner?
No, you can't practice independently.
Okay.
Now, the experience you gain while working in the hospital is different from what you gain while you're in school.
Okay.
Now, we have what they call housemanship immediately after you finish your youth service. Before going for your youth service,
Okay.
you study housemanship 1 year. Then you go for your NYSC and get a job. Then you have a license to practice as a medical practitioner.
Okay.
So no, you can't just because
Do
you're
it
not looking for
independently.
you are looking for a job to study. No.
You know, because we have a lot of medical practitioners out there online, and then by the time you begin to discuss with them, you realize that they're actually just medical graduates. They've probably done their housemanship also, done with NYSC. They couldn't get jobs in hospitals, and they just decided to advise people about their health online. So people say that is basically what I do. I just advise people about their health online, consultation and all that. So it is not really, you can't really say they are right to do that. They are not licensed to practice.
When you come to that online, you can do that.
Okay.
Okay, you can give advice. That there's a doctor, Dr. Aproko, you're on Instagram, on Twitter. Yeah, he gives advice. There's so many of them. They'll tell you this and that. It's not wrong. Yeah, you are telling people these are the do's and don'ts of what you're supposed to do. Now, with that way, they can make money from it.
Yes.
There are different influencers. They can become an influencer and make money on Instagram. That doesn't concern the medical society.
world,
yeah. So you can do that. But we're talking about, you talked about practicing.
Practicing, yes.
Because you're looking for a job. I think there are certain years that you have before you start building your own hospitals.
Okay. I was going to mention that building a hospital.
Yes, there are certain years you need to serve and you need to get experience, or you become a specialist in a general hospital that they can give you a license for you to build a hospital, and you start. There are some people who are actually good, but they use someone else's license to just build an hospital, put that license there, but they are the real owners of the places. Yeah, so it's,
Thank you very much for enlightening us on that, because, a lot of teenagers, while growing up, you hear people say, when I grow up, I'm going to build a hospital.
Definitely
so they think
will.
that the process is just to go to school, study it, graduate, and then build a hospital. So thank you very much for enlightening us on that. Before we go into your career as a real estate agent, or what Lion Group is all about, I would love you to just pitch for this particular career. Tell us what the world would be like without this profession. Tell us what we will be like, what the society will be like without medical practitioners.
I don't know what the world would be without a doctor, without someone administering drugs to you, telling you the right dosage of drugs to take, telling you how to take care of your internal organs, your kidneys, telling you what and what to do. Without doctors, I don't think the world will still exist. People would die of some hidden illnesses and all that. So having a doctor in a society or a specialist in the society is just like, I don't know, I don't want to use, after God is medicine. Yeah. So if you don't have those people in your society, I think the society is, there's nothing in that society.
Yeah.
So doctors are semi-gods. So you just have to, whenever you see one, you just have to salute, yeah, and
Give
tell
them
them,
that
yeah,
respect.
give them the respect, because it's not easy. So doctors, I will tell you, doctors are the real deals in the society. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. Without doctors in the society, we wouldn't have someone taking care of our body system. I would love us to go back to something you said before this particular question. You know, I mentioned that some people practice online. They don't really practice, but they serve as advisors, they serve as coaches, medical coaches online. So how can we find a balance? You mentioned that you need to get a license to really practice as a doctor. Now, some of these people don't have licenses. It means that we can't really trust their information, right? We can't trust the information that they give out. How can they be regulated?
Now, there's difference between consultancy,
Okay.
and practice. Now, as when you finish your medical school, there's what we call oaths of Hippocrates. Now, you swear an oath. As a doctor, you're not supposed to give a wrong information. So these people might actually practice, do the housemanship, and they can give them certificate from the medical school.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that they can just go and start building hospitals. Now you just have to, the reason why you see other people after they finish, they're still in the hospital 2 years or 3 years, is just to gain some certain knowledge. And they have to be under some specialists that, you know, just like, you can't compare someone like me with somebody that is already doing medicine 1990 before they gave birth to me. This person has a broad knowledge of what I want to study, has a broad knowledge of what I want to do. So you have to work under such person to gain that knowledge. That is why you see people going to the hospital to stay and still learn and all that. That doesn't mean you cannot build your hospital, but you just have to go under these processes. Now, the consultancy these people do online, they can tell you, okay, as a lady, it's not good to use a douche for yourself when you want to bathe and all that. Just use only water. These are they're just giving. These are little information that just giving. This information that some of us know, but some people don't know. They just give that. And because of this, 1 or 2 people might be interested and say, Tony, you can follow so praise, you can follow this person. And when people start following these people, they become influencers. And from that way, they can make their money. So there's difference between consultancy and practicing.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, everybody on social media has a voice. As long as you're on social media, you have a voice. So I'm sure that some people who even speak about medical issues, they are not really practitioners. We have some people who speak about it, but are not practitioners. But social media has given everybody a voice. So whether you even study it or not, people definitely talk about it. Okay, so I'd like us to talk about Lion Group. As the CEO, what other things do you do at Lion Group aside real estate? You mentioned that you do a lot of things. What other things do you do?
Right now, we are into transportation, not just real estate. What bet you real estate was transportation? Yeah. Transportation was was the first choice going into transportation. Yeah. You know, when I was venturing into something like that, it was funny because transportation, men are known for transportation business, and it's a male dominating industry. So, but when I looked at as an entrepreneur, you look for what and what to solve in your society. So that's what gave birth to real estate, Lion Cars, Lion Group. Lion Group formed from Lion Airport Transfer. Yeah, from Lion Airport Transfer, we talk about the real estate. Okay, we talk about, because when we talk about airport transfer, it's strictly for airport shuttle service. People coming abroad, you don't need to call people, you don't need to call police, come and pick me up. While Lion Airport is there, and we just pick you and drop you off in the house. So while you are inside our car, we tell you more about real estate. People have been scammed, because they're not based in Nigeria. So you can be in any part of the world and just tell us, okay, Marianne, I just need a property. So this is my budget, and I look for it, and okay, this is what we do. And you can tell me, okay, Marianne, I need a ticket from Air France for this, from that, and I say, okay, I'll tell you, do you want business class or economy? And you tell me, okay, this I want to go for this.
Makes
We
life
book,
easy.
yeah, we just help you to book. Okay, Marianne, I'm landing so time, I might not get home by that time, and because of that, we might not operate at a certain time in the night. Maybe from 11:30 we don't operate. So we tell you, okay, we have hotels that you can just stay. You can just, stay for the night. So we do that.
Thank you very much. It's quite an interesting career. It's quite interesting. It's more like you found a need or you found a problem in our society and you literally solved it.
Yeah.
So well done to Lion Group. Thank you so
very
much for that. Finally, I want you to pitch for this career. Tell us what the world would be like without what you do now.
I don't, what without an entrepreneur, I don't know. We might, I don't know, there are some solutions or some problems we keep on facing in the society. But as an entrepreneur, we look at what that we can solve, which are transportation issues and so many issues. So for me, myself, I looked at the transportation issue as one of the problems we face, why most people come back to our country and they face different insecurity. So I decided to provide a safe and affordable transport system for them, and even real estate too, be scammed and all that. So a world without an entrepreneur, I think there will be no word.
Problems will be solved.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So how can we reach you? Social media, email?
You can send a DM at my Instagram handle at Marianne8A, or my email at ceolioncarsairporttransfer@gmail.com or 88francis@gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this enlightening session. It's been a smooth ride with you. It's been quite enlightening and educative. Thank you once again for being on the show. I'm sure that the teenagers and young adults watching right now are also glad. They're also saying thank you. So thank you on their behalf. You are still watching Divine TV, where we enrich souls through the gospel of Christ. I am your host on Catch Them Young. My name is Praise Shugade, and I'm delighted to have you here. Stay tuned for more interesting episodes on Catch Them Young by subscribing to our YouTube channel on Divine TV. You can also download our mobile app on Google Play Store and follow us on all social media platforms at Divine TV. Thank you for staying with us. I'll see you next time.